Thomas Aquinas and the Natural Law. The scholastic realist St. Thomas Aquinas, in his Summa Theologicae, codified the contributions of his philosophical predecessors into a moral system. He did this in part by naming 4 overarching precepts of the natural law, and they are: 1. Good is to be done and pursued, and evil is to be avoided. Number 2, every substance seeks the preservation of its own being according to its nature. And by reason of this inclination, whatever is a means of preserving human life and of warding off its obstacles. Number 3, there is an inclination in man to things that pertain to him more specifically, according to that nature which he has in common with other animals, and in virtue of this inclination, those things are said to belong to the natural law, which nature has taught to all animals, such as sexual intercourse, education of offspring, and so forth. And number 4, there is in man an inclination to good, according to the nature of his reason, which nature is proper to him. Thus, man has a natural inclination to know the truth about God, and to live in society. And in this respect, whatever pertains to this inclination belongs to the natural law. For instance, to shun ignorance, to avoid offending those among whom one has to live, and other such things regarding the above inclination. Now, let's take a look at each in turn. The first precept of natural law is a common notion and therefore a first principle, often thought of in terms of as a command, and it is, do good and avoid evil. This moral imperative resides in men and women's consciences, as if it has been written on their hearts by their Creator. And it is recognized when a person consults his or her nature in reference to what is good and what is bad. Does a certain action or behavior coincide with his nature, or does it do harm to his nature, is the question asked. If the action is suited to his or her nature, it is good. If it does not, it is bad. Once we conclude that a given action is bad, let's say murder, we can form 2 logical premises: avoid evil and murder is evil, from whose conjunction is deduced avoid murder. This is the way all specific commands of natural law are derived. The second precept, paraphrased, is preserve the species and mitigate obstacles to it. Fixed within the nature of all creatures are survival mechanisms, often revealed as instincts or other properties inherent to the nature of the being itself. Consider an oak tree. The species is preserved through the tree's annual production and releasing of acorns. These survival mechanisms exist for the preservation of the species, as do the ability to think and reason. When we consider what's involved in the preservation of the species, a host of factors come to mind: a healthy and secure habitat, ready access to clean water, the ability to grow or hunt food, a healthy diet, freedom from the threat of danger, the right to work and rest, etc. Mitigating obstacles to the preservation of the species include such things as freedom from the threat of danger, access to medicine and health care, to name a few. Issues of social justice, bioethics, and the right to life fall under the scope of this precept, as do all calls to defend and protect life. The third precept is basically to create a climate in which to procreate, protect, and care for our offspring. Built into the biology of all creatures is the innate ability to procreate and the subsequent instinct to protect our young. Within this precept reside ethical subjects such as human sexuality, marriage, family, and education. Some questions that arise related to this precept are: according to the natural order of reality, what is best for the raising of children? Is it a mother and a father who are committed to each other and to their offspring, or is it not? What are the moral implications of casual sexual encounters? How do immediate desires relate to the more profound desire for true and lasting happiness? What role should the state play in the raising of children, if any? Who has access to education? Who are considered the primary educators of children? Finally, the fourth precept is to know and seek the truth, which is God, and to live harmoniously in human society. Made by God, we are drawn to Him. Our final cause is to be in an intimate union with God. Therefore, implied in this precept is the right to religious liberty, the ability to seek the truth, together with the context of the human family.